They were never attached to you. They were attached to the attention you gave them, the replies, the availability, the emotional reactions, the explanations. You thought connection was being built. What was actually built was access. And the moment access disappears, behavior changes. If you want psychological discipline, emotional control, and real self-respect, subscribe. This channel trains internal strength, not external approval. Now, listen carefully. Most people spend their lives managing impressions, checking how they sound, how they look, how they are perceived. So their mind never belongs to them. It lives in other people's reactions. You wake up and your mood depends on messages. Your energy depends on validation. Your confidence depends on treatment. That means your emotional state is outsourced, and anything outsourced is controlled. The person who controls your reactions controls your behavior. The person who predicts your behavior stops respecting you. Not because they hate you, because the brain stops valuing what it can fully predict. Predictable attention feels safe, but it also feels cheap. When you always reply fast, when you always explain, when you always react, you remove uncertainty. And without uncertainty, there is no psychological weight. You think focusing on yourself is a self-help habit. It is actually a power shift, because attention is the most valuable currency humans exchange. Where your attention goes, your value follows. Right now, your attention is leaking everywhere, into conversations that go nowhere, into people who don't invest back, into arguments that don't improve your life, into checking, waiting, refreshing, hoping. You are feeding environments that do not grow you, and the mind notices this. The subconscious keeps score. Every time you abandon your priorities for someone else's comfort, your brain lowers your own authority. Confidence is not built by affirmations. It is built by observing your own behavior. When you see yourself chase, you feel small. When you see yourself wait, you feel dependent. When you see yourself over-explain, you feel uncertain. Self-respect comes from self-alignment, so focusing on yourself starts with removal, not addition. You don't add discipline first. You remove unnecessary reactions. Stop responding to everything instantly. Not to manipulate, but to regain control over impulse. Pause before answering. Let silence exist. Let your mind choose instead of react. You will feel discomfort. That discomfort is withdrawal from stimulation dependency. Your brain is used to micro-rewards, notifications, responses, emotional exchanges. Each reaction gives dopamine, each pause removes it. So your mind will try to convince you something is wrong. It isn't. You're just breaking automatic behavior. The next step is attention placement. Most people place attention outward by default. Who said what? Who viewed? Who noticed? Who ignored? Your brain becomes a surveillance system instead of a creation system. Turn it inward deliberately. Ask one question throughout the day. Is this improving my life or just occupying my mind? You will start noticing how much of your time is emotional noise, conversations that repeat, thoughts that loop, imaginary scenarios that never happen. Mental energy is being spent without producing strength, so you redirect it. Set periods where you are unreachable on purpose. Not announced, not explained, just unavailable. During that time you work, train, learn, build, or think. At first, nothing changes externally, but internally, something important happens. Your brain relearns ownership. You begin finishing tasks without interruption. You experience calm without stimulation. You realize most urgency was artificial, and here is where people start changing toward you. Not because you played a tactic, because your behavior is no longer organized around them. Humans detect priority instantly. When someone feels you revolve around them, they relax. When they feel you have your own orbit, they adjust. Replies become faster. Initiation increases. Respect appears. You didn't demand it. You created conditions where it naturally emerges. Value is not declared. It is inferred from behavior patterns. Scarcity alone doesn't create respect. Purposeful engagement does. When you do respond, be present. Short, clear, calm. No over-explaining, no defensive paragraphs, no emotional leakage. You are not trying to appear cold. You are removing unnecessary negotiation. You speak because you chose to, not because silence made you anxious. Now the biggest shift happens internally. You stop monitoring how others feel about you and start monitoring how you operate. Did you keep your word to yourself today? Did you protect your time? Did you move forward or just interact? Your self-image begins to rebuild from evidence, not opinions. And this creates a paradox. The less you try to be valued, the more stable your behavior becomes. The more stable your behavior becomes, the more others trust your presence. Not emotionally loud trust. Quiet trust. You become predictable in standards, not predictable in availability. That is what maturity looks like psychologically. Focusing on yourself is not isolation. It is selective participation. You still care, you still connect, you still communicate, but you no longer abandon direction for reaction. Most people never experience this shift. They attempt to change how others treat them, without changing what they tolerate from themselves. So they negotiate externally forever. But once your attention stops chasing validation, your interactions become optional instead of necessary, and optional behavior carries weight. The goal was never to make them notice you. The goal was to stop losing yourself in observation. Because when your mind returns to your control, everything, including relationships, reorganizes around it. Focus on yourself long enough, and people don't just see you differently, you do. And that is when their behavior finally stops determining your worth.